everybody, we're going to put together the L92 LY, I think it's the LY6 intake as well. This is the L92 intake. It is humongous, but it works because I've got clearance for it. So first thing I'm going to do is I got to put the throttle body on, got to put a new throttle body gasket. I'm going to need to buy a map sensor, go up here. I got to put all the injectors in. I've got the fuel rail here that just sits on top. All the injectors have been cleaned by fuel injector connection over by me. I've got this really trick bracket. This is for the throttle cable, and this is made for this intake, and it goes some which way like that, and then I can have the throttle cable, manual throttle cable instead of drive-by-wire. And I've got all the bolts and the brackets to actually mount this to the intake, the heads. So all that's good. Let's go ahead and get started. Sorry for the loud noise, it is raining like crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting the injectors in. Like I said, I got the injectors rebuilt from fuel injector connection, which is a much cheaper option than buying new injectors. And so I am going to start with the first one. And I don't know if this is the right thing to do or not, but I'm going to kiss that rubber seal with a little WD-40. I kind of feel like any lube is okay. Just get it on there good. Wipe the excess. And then this has to be out. I'm just going to put it in this middle one right here. There we go. Now I'm not going to put the retaining clips on yet. Actually, I'm going to do it like this, a little easier for me. And again, you take the cap off. Looks like it might have a little bit of lubricant on there already. It sure does. I'll try that. And then just push them in. There you go. Make sure they seat all the way. And that's it. So I'm going to go through and do all 8 of them. Alright, I've got all the injectors in the fuel rails. Now I'm going to go ahead and put these into the intake manifold because you kind of have to wiggle them in at an angle. And because I've got the aluminum heads on the Humvee, I'm going to be putting a little anti-seize on these threads, so when I return I'll probably be covered in head to toe from this crap, because you know the rule is once you open the lid it gets everywhere magically. So we'll see how I do, but there's 5 on each side, 10 total. They all are sleeved, and I'm just going to put a little bit of anti-seize on there so when they go into those aluminum heads I don't have to worry about them seizing up and taking the threads with them. So I'll be back once I get that done. Now again, when you put these in, do it at kind of an angle. Get the lip in there and then twist. That's why I'm doing it before the fuel rail, because the fuel rail kind of gets in the way. So all of the bolts are into the intake manifold now. 5 on this side, 5 on that side. There's a torque sequence. We'll go over with that. Now what we're going to do is put the fuel injectors on. I'm probably going to do the retainer clips first, just because I don't know how much access I'm going to have once they're on here. So let's go ahead and put these retainer clips on. Get that out of the way. Bring this over here. Gentle, gentle, gentle. Alright, so I believe the retainer clips go on like this. So what they do, I don't know if you can see this good or not, but the retaining clip, how it has this ridge in it up at the top, that goes towards the pulse of the injector, towards the tip up here. And they just clip on, and this keeps the injector from unseating. Now, I'm having a little bit of difficulty. I may do one on my own. Oh, never mind. Just got to wiggle the injector a little bit. There we go. Get it straight, put it on. It still moves left to right. Sorry if I got out of frame on that one. So you have to kind of wiggle the injector as you put it on, so it goes like that. There's a little ridge there. There we go. And then I'm gonna spin it because there is a tooth that it goes on, and that might be what people are talking about. They get kind of screwed up with it. There's a bunch of them. All right, let me do this because it seems to be a pain in the butt, and then I'll be back. So I'm going to show you hopefully a little closer up. See how this has those two hooks, two fangs right there? Well, the injectors have little tabs at like 12, 3, and 9. They don't have them at 6. But those little fangs clip on to that little tab. And there you go, just like that. And it slips on, and then the injector can still swivel, so putting them in should be okay. But it just can't come out this way. It can't shoot out as the pressure from the fuel. So that side's done. Now I'll go ahead and do the other side. So another thing I would say do is see how that clip goes under the actual fuel rail seat? I would go around on each one and just check to make sure that that is set, because the last thing you want is you to crank this bad boy up, fuel to go everywhere, and it to blow up. So now, before I actually set the fuel injectors down into the manifold in these little pockets, I'm going to take a little WD-40 on my pinky and just kind of wipe it in there just so it's a little bit lubed, because like I said, there's no thing as too much lubrication. And I just want everything to set down nice and easy. Now, I can't imagine WD-40 would harm these O-rings, as the O-rings are for fuel. But I will say that I'm leaving this for a while before it starts. Obviously, it'll probably be a while. So I'm thinking the WD-40 will be dried up by then. If you're going to put this in and then crank it right away, I don't know if I would lubricate it as much, just because, you know, I think these O-rings are supposed to kind of set and seal. Let's go ahead and put her in, see how it looks. Now, I'm not just going to put it down and shove it. I'm going to go around and align each injector so they're kind of in a seat. Because the last thing you want to do is, when you tighten these bolts down, is to bend one or unseat one. Get them where the connectors are pretty straight, pins are in. Looks like that side's good. I'll go around to this side and just, that's good, that's good, that's good, that's good. So now, I mean, you can hear them seat, and then you'll see on the bolt holes up here that everything is good. And I just wiggle them around, get them straight. And I don't know the torque spec off the top of my head for these. It's probably just, you know, nice and tight. These are the actual bolts for them. I'm steel into steel. Don't think I need any Loctite or anything. Get those started by hand. I'll go ahead and tighten those up. And like I said, before you tighten them, just wiggle everything. Make sure they're still loose, nothing's tight. We should be ready to rock. So the torque spec for the fuel rail bolts is 89 inch-pounds. So we're just gonna, there we go. All right. I can still wiggle the injectors around. I'm sure once the seals seat or dry, you don't want to do that because it can rip the O-ring as you turn it. So kind of set it and just leave it. I'm going to spin this around. Do 89 inch-pounds on these. And then just kind of get the injectors straight. They look good to me. Are they still move easy? Alright, so that is the fuel rail setup. Bolts are in. Now let's put on the throttle body, which, if you didn't know, we stepped our game up a little bit and went with the Holley Sniper. Look at that thing. Rap, 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 rap. Alright, can you see that okay? Let's get it turned kind of like that. Now, I've got the old throttle body gasket, but when you buy the intake manifold gaskets for an LS, the Fel-Pro kit, it comes with a new one, so we're going to use that. First thing, like I said, is lube is always good, especially on these O-ring type gaskets, because as they compress, they'll move a little bit, and you want them to be able to slip and slide, and then they'll dry out later. So I am going to take my WD-40, lube it up, put it in. All right, so we've got a nice sheen on there. All you do is just kind of push it in. It's got those little notches in it. And it goes in. The notches I'm talking about are like those. They make it a little bit thicker. So what happens is as you push it, it seats nicely. You want to run circular motions around it so it can kind of find its happy place. It's still wanting to pop out a little bit. Alright, there we go. Pretty sure that's good. Now, we go in the kit, we find the, there they are. Hardware, I am going to put a dab of blue Loctite on them just in case. So let me go get the correct hardware for that. Alright, so put a teeny tiny dab of blue Loctite on there. Again, nothing crazy. That was probably too much, but now that I've got WD-40 all in my hands, it's super slippery. All right, Loctite is applied, throttle body gasket is on, throttle body is ready to go. This gets torqued to 89 inch-pounds. I have to power through some old Loctite there. All right, everything is bolted on. It is not torqued. I've got the torque wrench here. I do have a 1/4 to 3/8 drive adapter to go to that. So now we're gonna crisscross pattern this to 80. I'm covering the video. 89. Come on. All right, let me come down here. Actually, do it like that. Oh, drop the box. Is that in? All right. Last one. Perfect. All right. That is all the woo-pow I can stand. Now let's put on this trick little throttle cable bracket, and I think we're pretty much done other than the map sensor goes on top. All right, so the last step is a pretty neat little tool, little piece. It's off of eBay. I don't know the name of the company off the top of my head. I think it's GAP off eBay, but they are the only company I could find that makes an L92 specific throttle cable bracket. So all you do is stick that on. It actually comes with the hardware. A little dab of Loctite on there. And then these are 89 inch-pounds just before, so I'm gonna go ahead and install this and show you how that works. All right, the manifold is done. That piece is on. It's got the cables go here, hooked to throttle body, and woo-bow! That's it. It is finished. Now it's ready to go in the truck. All I gotta do is put the intake manifold gaskets clipped to the bottom. See, I told you. Damn it, I told you I'd get that on me. And then I gotta get a map sensor up here, and we'll be ready to lay out the Holley EFI wiring harness and get to hooking things up. All right, so the intake manifold is in. It's pretty simple. The gaskets just clip onto the bottom of the intake foot manifold, which is really nice. Put it in, set it down, started a few bolts. I have not torqued it yet. Nothing really crazy here. When you do torque it, start at 44 inch-pounds. You can Google the sequence of how it goes and then go to 89 inch-pounds to finish it off. And then once all that's done, I'm gonna come over here and put my oil pressure sensor in, and this will be pretty buttoned up. I've still got to put a map sensor on the top of it, but that'll be done, and then we can move on to the Holley Dominator wiring for the motor. And some other things. So it has been a couple days, guys, and I am back to kind of show you how this ended up. I did get the oil pressure sensor put on, and then come to find out the Holley Dominator doesn't use the factory oil pressure sender, so I'm going to take that out, put a Holley in. I'm sure there's a cross-reference part I can get as well. And then I've got everything torqued down, everything installed, the fuel rails in. Let me come around here. Show you the throttle bracket is on, goes right down to here, hooks in. It actually installed, looks really good. I mean, I got that out of the way. Whoops, sorry about the finger there. The intake will come probably under this and then over here, and I've taken the intake box out. So I'll get all that set up and built, installed. So it's gonna look really nice. There's plenty of room up there. It's not, you know, I have the 2-inch body lift. I have gotten the map sensor. I've plugged all of the vacuum ports, so I shouldn't have any vacuum leaks. Cross my fingers. I've already got the new throttle cable for the LS. You just get it for like an LS1. It's the 5-foot one, so shouldn't have an issue with length. They're cut to fit. But that's going to be it for today's video, guys. It went in good. I love it. It was built well. I think it's going to give me way better performance than the Holley Sniper throttle body injection. And so hopefully we'll get this thing up and running soon. Y'all have a great week. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe because I got some exciting news coming up.